Welcome back to World Big Time Wrestling. Your host, Nicholas Cross here. And wait a minute, we had a little bit of a technical difficulty there as we go to the ring.
And now, coming down to the ring, from Amarillo, Texas, he is 6'8" inches tall, 250 pounds, Brandon MacGreggor.
You want to talk about a bad attitude? This guy right here is a guy that personifies bad attitude. Not only so, he is a big guy, too, and he can bring it. And there you see him, Brandon MacGreggor. And everybody here is giving him a piece of their mind. Of course, you gotta know why. With a reputation like he has, it's only normal. But he's huge, and he's heavy, and he's powerful. But his opponent this evening may not care about anyone, as he's also a human being with a bad attitude, but all the right places are utilized for that bad attitude.
He is from Detroit, Michigan. He is Detroit's most dangerous weapon, weighing in at 210 pounds, Handgun Dan!
Handgun Dan from Detroit, Michigan. Motor City. You hear the music. You can hear a rumble in this audience. And there he is, as he cocks the handgun, and the audience approves. This will not be your catch-as-catch-can wrestling contest. This will be a brutality contest. These two human beings are going to assault one another, and they're going to do it with quiet anger. You're going to see them going at it in some kind of way, and I'm kind of excited. There you see Handgun Dan and the audience going crazy for the young man. And, of course, Brandon MacGreggor, noted as one with the worst attitude in the business today. See that beautiful World Big Time. Wait a minute. Brandon came in for a clothesline, but Handgun ducked, and there he stayed on him really tightly, and there he's got him. He twists over, goes into a... No, it's the second pinfall attempt, and I can't even keep up with it as he drives a knee into the midsection. And here he goes. He's got him hooked now in a crucifix. He's going to take Brandon over. One, but he kicks out again. Handgun Dan is not playing tonight as he's going for the victory early. There you go, a side headlock, which is surprising to me. I figured that both of these guys would be hitting each other with everything, including the kitchen sink. If you can find the kitchen sink, throw it in the ring. They'll use it. You can guarantee that. These two are some brutes. Brandon MacGreggor now laying some elbows into the midsole, the side, the ribs of Handgun Dan as you hear this audience chanting, Handgun, Handgun. Brandon MacGreggor now using that power, that height, and that leverage. And there he is laying it, that top wrist lock. He's laying that wrist lock deep in on Handgun Dan. And Handgun looked like he was going to haul off and unload all over Brandon MacGregor's face. But Brandon was just able... Oh, European uppercut to the armpit. The armpit. And Handgun Dan may be in trouble, but he was able to get the elbow over to break that. And there he's got a wrist lock all his own. And now we see Brandon MacGregor writhing in pain. Just continue to talk about both men being absolute brutes. Big guys. And they're just going to lay it in on one. And you know these headlocks here. These headlocks are no joke. When guys this size put you in a headlock or a top wrist lock or anything, there he reverses it into another powerful headlock. And you can hear Handgun Dan writhing in pain as Brandon MacGregor digging deeper with that headlock. Hey, let's not forget, we got Eddie Ortega versus Otis tonight. It's cinching it in even deeper, dragging that forearm across the forehead and right across the eyebrow of Handgun Dan. Eddie Ortega versus Otis tonight, and I'm excited about that, as well as I am a few other matches that are on the card that are coming up. But then right here, right now, we got Handgun Dan. He just floated over, got out of the headlock, and then returned to a headlock all his own. And I'm sure you can follow Handgun Dan at WBigTimeW using the hashtag World Big Time Wrestling when we're talking about it. Of course, Brandon MacGregor now utilizing some interesting offense, or maybe that would be considered defense, to get out of this headlock. But nevertheless, and there he's just going to cauliflower his ear. But you know, Brandon MacGregor probably don't care. Got him once again, and you see the pressure there added to the elbow as he gives him another European uppercut right to the armpit. And the nerves that are in there are insane, and the pain that this young man must be feeling is absolutely nuts. He's got referee, if you just get in there and break up that hair, if you would. Just get in there and get his hands out of his hair. Brendan McGregor now back into the headlock, and this audience, this crowd here in Toledo hasn't quit screaming Handgun since he made an entrance. And Brendan McGregor just bowled over Handgun Dan like it didn't even exist. Back into the ropes, he floats over now. Another shoulder tackle took Handgun down as quickly as he got up. Brendan McGregor back off the ropes one more time. Handgun Dan leapfrogs this time. Brendan McGregor back in, and then a big hip toss taking the big guy up and over. Very unique scientific type wrestling going on so far, and once again, I'm gonna preface this with a statement. Neither of these guys are shoddy wrestlers to any extent of the rule. But for me, I was expecting a knockdown dragout from the word go. And maybe we'll still see it. But there you see Handgun Dan saying, I've had enough of this. Get in the ring and let's get this thing going. And he's going to go after Brendan McGregor, and he's got him by his ears. He's picking him up by his ears. And what's he going to do here as he turns him around? Maybe he's going to... Brendan McGregor got a thumb right in the eye of Handgun Dan. Just drops all of his weight down, snapping the neck back of one Handgun Dan, and there you saw Handgun Dan hit hard on the mat. Face first, his nose smashing into the mat, and that guy may be out cold as Brendan McGregor lays the boots to him. Now, I don't know if I'm you, but in my train of thought, Brendan McGregor will be going for a pinfall here as he just drops a forearm right across the small of Handgun Dan's back. Brendan McGregor maybe being methodical, maybe wanting to assault the guy a little bit more, just drops all of his body weight right back on that back. And now what's he got? Referee, I would question whether he's got his thumbs and his fingers ripping into his flesh, into his eyes or not. And the referee clearly saw something that maybe we didn't. And of course, you guys can see a lot of stuff if you go to Facebook.com/World Big Time Wrestling and check us out there. You can also see this match in its entirety on our wall. Just click like. We'll enjoy it. We'll like you back. And Brendan McGregor now playing to the audience, letting them know that Handgun Dan is nothing. Yeah, keep chanting because it don't mean anything. That's what Brendan McGregor's saying anyway. Handgun Dan now making it back to his feet. But what's so interesting is that Brendan McGregor is always there, and that time it was a European uppercut to the back of the head, the neck region. Knee to the midsection now, and Handgun Dan is in some kind of trouble as Brendan McGregor sets him up and whips him in, and he hits hard into the corner. McGregor off. My Lord in heaven! Thundering clothesline nearly tore the head off of Handgun Dan. And I would suggest that this thing is all over. It's curtains. 1, 2. No, he got a shoulder up. Brendan McGregor, learn how to count, he says. And the referee admonishing him and letting him know that it was certainly a 2 count, as there you see Handgun Dan trying to fight back as best he can. Brendan McGregor back in the corner, and he just kicks him right in the face. Looked like he kicked him right in the forehead. He punted him across the arena nearly. There he turns him over, and what's he going to do here? Are his hands underneath the chin? No, they're firmly on the chin there. So Brendan McGregor, for maybe once, is going to follow some rules. But he is pulling back hard in this modified camel clutch, and just you can see the pain written across Handgun Dan's face. There you see Brendan McGregor getting a little bit of a rest. And there he's working his finger into the mouth, pulling hard on his mouth. Get the man off of him, referee. That's what Brendan McGregor does. He utilizes something effectively and then takes it to the next level. Unbelievable. Now what's he going to do? He's got Handgun by the boot, dragging him out to the ring apron. He's pulling him by the hair over on the other side there. Looks like he's organizing him for something, some kind of punishment, you can guarantee. He's got him draped there precariously against the ring post, and there he's pulling him. He's pulling him. That could do some internal damage for real, and Handgun Dan is in some kind of trouble. If Brendan McGregor would just get in the ring, after he gives him a nice little kidney punch, he may be able to score a pinfall victory. But he's just going to take his time. He's going to toy with the referee, and he's going to roll in slowly, and then he's going to grab Handgun Dan by the hair, and once again the referee's letting this go. But Handgun with a nice punch to the midsection. And what's he going to do here? He flips over, just attempting a sunset flip. He's got him in where he wants him. One. He only got a 1 count out of that. You can see that Handgun Dan is worse for wear. Once again, he just punched him right in the kidneys. Brandon MacGreggor is a surgeon. He knows exactly what he's doing when he's doing it. Right there, one more time, right in the kidneys, and Handgun Dan is in trouble. And there you see the snide smirk written across the face of Brandon MacGreggor as Handgun Dan is draped over that second rope. Interestingly enough, not only do you have two big guys in here, but you have what I would consider to be a one-way match at this point as he snapped his neck back again. Handgun Dan all the way to the floor, and MacGreggor once again just posing. Just he's going to let the referee get to count him out. Referee's already up to 4. And there he's interrupting the count, which may not be the wisest thing. And he was able to get back in the ring. At least it didn't end that way. I was holding my breath, hoping for everything that I am that Handgun Dan would get back in the ring. As you see, Brandon MacGregor's got to be cinched up for what's going to be a suplex delivered to perfection. And Handgun Dan's still in trouble. And you can't forget that Brandon MacGregor's been working on that kidney of Handgun Dan, and then that suplex landing right on the back had to have the same effect as any blow that Brandon MacGregor has delivered. And there, maybe the referee should take off his bow tie and put it around the neck of Brandon MacGregor as Handgun Dan just smacked him right in the face. MacGregor with a European uppercut, and that may have been the end of Handgun Dan, but he's still on his feet. European uppercut all his own. Brandon MacGregor back. Another European uppercut. If the ropes weren't there, Handgun Dan would be down. And another European uppercut. And he just kicked him right in the face. And another gigantic European uppercut took him down. Now, this is what I was expecting earlier. Both men throwing haymakers. Did you see that boot by Brandon MacGregor? He kicked Handgun Dan right in the face. 1, 2, cancel crisp. No. Brandon MacGregor, Handgun Dan, I'm not sure how he did it, but he somehow got a kick out of it. You can tell, and maybe Brandon MacGregor's letting him up. He's got the ropes. Maybe Brandon MacGregor was letting him up because it looked like very little effort by Handgun Dan. But nevertheless, the count was broken up, and we still got a match here. And there you hear the audience giving Brandon MacGregor their disapproval. And there you hear Brandon MacGregor running his mouth to the audience. Now he's going to continue to talk some trash to Handgun Dan, and he's choking the man. Referee, get in there. Get in there and break the hold. Referee being a little bit lax here as Handgun Dan shoots Brandon MacGregor, reverse that. And he came across him. Back to the action now, and both guys are still down on the canvas as the referee has a count going here. 4. You see them both moving a little bit, but not. He's up at a 6 already. 7, 8, 9. But Brandon MacGregor reached his feet, and then Handgun Dan did it, and a big clothesline by Handgun Dan. Both men went down, but both men are quickly back up to their feet, and Handgun Dan now with an elbow to the face of Brandon MacGregor, and the action is so intense that I'm losing my place here, losing my words. He ducks the clothesline. I'm not sure what that was, and it comes around, but Brandon MacGregor was able to get out of the way. Handgun Dan now in trouble. Got a shoulder up again. That little bit of offense from both men. Wait a minute. He's stretching him back against his knee now. Pulling back on the legs and the chin. Handgun Dan is in some serious trouble here. He may tap. You don't see this version of the surfboard often, but Brandon MacGregor's really putting it in, and maybe he's got a finger in the mouth there. I couldn't tell from our angle. Handgun Dan is taking a beating here. Somehow he's got Brandon MacGregor hooked in a DDT. Handgun Dan was able to deliver a DDT. And here he feels the fire burning on the inside of him. What's he going to do? He cocks the hand. He's got the handgun ready. And here he goes ascending the top rope. I'm not sure the motivation here. Brandon MacGregor already up. And wait a minute. Oh no! Powerbomb. He just powerbombed Handgun Dan right off the second rope. And if he would pin him, it would be over. Of course, there he's going to mock Handgun Dan. Brandon MacGregor just powerbombed Handgun Dan off the second rope and sits right on his chest. Handgun Dan got a shoulder up. Brandon MacGregor is surprised, he's shocked, and he's given everything he has to Handgun Dan, and every single time Handgun Dan was able to get a shoulder up. Every single time, Handgun Dan answered the fall with a kick out. And Brandon MacGregor is showing some frustration at this point in time. He's got a handful of hair again. Referee screaming from a distance, but I don't think Brandon MacGregor even cares. Another European uppercut. And Brandon MacGregor looks like he might be out on his feet. Brandon MacGregor shoots Handgun Dan in. He ducks around. What are we going to see here? He shoots him into the ropes. He holds on. Brandon MacGregor was able to hold on. But wait. Handgun Dan's ready. Brandon MacGregor don't have a clue. He don't have a clue. Big roundhouse right. Twirly bird, if you will. And he's got him set up now. Flatline. If he just gets over on him, he's going to cover him. 1, 2, 3. Handgun Dan. Handgun Dan. Have you ever dreamed of being a professional wrestler? It's time you start living that dream. The WBW Pro Wrestling School, located at 444 West Lassie Road in Toledo, is looking for all shapes and sizes to train for professional wrestlers, managers, and referees. Check out the school online at WBWrestling.com or call 567-297-0WBW. That's 567-297-0929 to set up your trial.